790 KABC.
Yeah, if I had that kind of voice, I'd be doing commercials. Peter Tilden, live from Fresh Restaurant, 3 blocks from the beach here in Santa Monica, home of the Truffle Burger. It's a great restaurant. Come on out and watch the show. We got some special guests and surprise guests coming in next week. I know that for a fact, and a couple coming in this week. And I got those 3 Dog Night tickets with the Guess Who at the Pacific Amphitheater, but you got to call me now to get those tickets. Going to talk about some surprises at the John Edwards trial today. What he said about his mistress. But first, Zumazog is checking in. I haven't talked to him in about a week. How you doing?
Oh, Peter, thank you for having me on. What a fantastic, inspirational segment with William Shatner, by the way.
Thank you, dude. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Anytime I'm on your show, I heard Wendy was on yesterday, so I wanted to weigh in with equal time because, again, God bless Wendy. She didn't answer one of your questions directly. Always a diversion, and before you know it, you forget what you asked in the first place.
Well, I never forget it. I just kind of keep trying to say, how are you going to correct this? What are we doing after this audit? Where's the money coming from this? And it's hard pressed to get those answers.
No, Peter, you did a fantastic interview, and let me just say to your listeners, no, we're in big trouble. There are no answers. They just spent and you know, the listener called in and held Wendy accountable. I'd like to also note that she sits here as controller running for mayor. She was the council member voting yes on everything that got us into this mess. So let's not forget that.
Well, the other thing, Zuma, to be honest about it too, if you go back quite a ways, who's holding this mayor accountable for what he's doing and what he's done and how? I mean, in his speech, the big thing in his speech was, let's not look back, let's look forward to a brief 14 months I've got left. This man is just running for a new job. He wants to be a transportation secretary in Washington, get $250,000, and not be accountable for stuff. And he's gone. He's checked out.
Exactly. Councilman Bill Rosendahl even told me, he's like, oh, Antonio, he's checked out. He's looking for the new job. Now, what I'd like to get to is some of the real specifics. Let me tell you something.
Do it quick, though. Okay.
Okay, we got an FBI investigation. It was confirmed last week by a council member that it's still going on, and the problem is we got a real bad habit of illegal finding and feeing people that own properties that house the good, decent people of L.A. So when they're pretending like they want to keep people in homes, they're so out of control the FBI is involved. And also with the nonprofits, Peter, I'll let you go if you're short on time, but I feel a big issue is they handed away the Treasury through nonprofit third money transfers where they set up these shill phony nonprofits, then they all vote and approve the money in, then they're buying all the supplies and everything off of their relatives and cronies. And the other thing that needs to be addressed is the pension money. Investments. The city lost billions. The reason why we're in this mess is because billions were lost in phony, fraud, overly risky investments. That's to use the wording of the CAO.
Two, if you take it like with Wendy's audits, and I got to run, one of the most trivial ones, and I like to pick the trivial one because it's so simplistic. They had given what's it called? Devices so they can navigation devices to the people who give you your tickets for your parking meters. Okay, okay. So GPS systems. Those systems, when they checked on them, they found many broken, many missing, and that somebody could have bought them when the contract came up for $1 because the contract basically had expired. So you could buy them for $1. They were re-upped. The contract was re-upped for $500,000 for units that didn't exist. So I said to Wendy, great audit. Who approved? Follow the money. Whoever approved that, I would think, wow, approving a $500,000 to a contractor for items that hardly exist and we don't know where they are. Wouldn't you want to find out if somebody took kickback for that? Wouldn't you find out if there's an incentive for that? And the answer you always get is, oh, that person no longer works for the city. I wish that would happen to me, that I could rip people, well, I don't wish it would happen to me, but that I could rip people off, then leave my job, and that the police doesn't go after it. It's not fraud, it's not stealing, it's what. In the private sector, they come after you.
That's what it's all about, Peter. The contract, you hit on the final nail, and the reason Chief Beck is the chief and not the good O'Donnell guy, is because Beck was going to do the contract that they wanted. You're absolutely right. There's no accident that they paid that big money when it could have been $1 because they had the
who does that? Who does that? The person who does that knows exactly what they're doing. That's not an accident, and that's why I picked the simplest one, the smallest one, that doesn't have a lot of layers. It's not, tentacles that you got to figure out and track it down. It's that simple. Why did somebody approve a huge contract for items that barely existed? If they did it to you, you would say, how many of these exist? Why? I could buy it for $1. Let's do that for the city.
And how about the cameras downtown to monitor all the crime, and then we find out they don't work? Well, who cares? They already paid for them and installed them, and the contractors got paid, and everyone got the kickback.
Zuma Dog, we're going to run, but I'll talk to you later, and come up to the restaurant one night.
Thank you, Peter.
All right, dude.
By.
See you later.
That's my mayor.
Well, I don't know that I go that far.
That's who I'm voting.
Okay, good luck with that. I like Zuma, but there's issues there too, and he's probably laughing now because he knows I'm honest on any side.
Right.
I just try and find the real story. I'd like to have him checked out and pee into a jar first. You know what I mean? Just saying.
Right.
Boy, I don't have time. He just ate up my time with the Edwards thing. All right, let me get into the John Edwards thing.